Hey everybody, what's up? This is Kendric from HeroesHearth Warcraft 3 presenting to you yet another replay cast, and this time, trust me, we've got something special coming up on Echo Isles, one of my favorite maps to cast to begin with. We have the European powerhouse from Sweden, known as ThorZaIN, playing his race human on the right-hand side here, as you can see in the blues. And his opponent is going to be none other than HurricaneBo from China, an up-and-coming talent, I think, that we've seen participate in multiple occasions, multiple tournaments and qualifiers. Always a really cool player for me personally to follow, simply because I love his nickname so much, but also because he's a really good Demon Hunter player. That has always struck out to me, or stood out to me, his Demon Hunter usage and his aggressive playstyle. So let's see if he has what it takes to withstand the onslaught of ThorZaIN, and many, and I think Grubby is actually on point with this and agreeing with this as well, saying that ThorZaIN is among the top 3, if not the top 1 strongest human in Europe currently. So, not sure if you can put him on the same level as TH and Infi, the legendary Chinese human overlords, but ThorZaIN is definitely no one that has to hide on the international stage. So, without further ado, guys, let's just dive right into the action here in Echo Isles. We're seeing the opening from the human on the right-hand side. We see HurricaneBo, of course, and I'm super excited to see which hero he's going to play. The human versus Night Elf is almost, I feel like, a matchup that we don't really get to watch that often, because undeads are becoming more and more successful. Some orcs have recently stood up as well. Focus Lin doing extremely well. So the Night Elves, you know, after 1.30 with the Keeper of the Grove just seeming overwhelmingly powerful, and the Huntress is so strong, Tier 1, Mass Tier 1 was the way to go, with an almost guaranteed fast expansion every single time that could hardly be interrupted and stopped. I feel like the Night Elf race, they have lost their stride a little bit, and the undeads in particular are currently stealing the show internationally, I would say, in terms of esports successes. So let's see if HurricaneBo can at least win a little bit of glory and honor back into his race's name by taking down ThorZaIN here. The game is... oh my goodness, no way, ThorZaIN. I was going to say, I was expecting an Archmage. I was maybe even expecting a Paladin first, because ThorZaIN, he really made this strategy, this human strategy, popular of Paladin Riflemen, you know, just pumping out those rifles in the back as quickly as possible and then making them nigh unkillable because of the Devotion aura, especially since the buff on that aura, the Paladin, has become much more frequent. But he is going for a Blood Mage first. Okay, I think we've had, on HeroesHearth Warcraft 3, we've had a game on this very map with Romantic, I believe, going Blood Mage first. I can't remember if it was against Night Elf or not, but he went for Blood Mage solo all the way through to get that Phoenix at level 6, and basically use this as a harassment scouting tool with the Phoenix, of course, at level 6. If you play it well and prevent the egg from getting taken down by the enemies, the Phoenix will be indefinitely. You know, you don't have to recast it. It'll always respawn after losing its health from the egg. The question is ThorZaIN going to go that route? Is he going to follow Romantic's footsteps here, or is he going to switch it up and maybe just play, let's say, a Blood Mage Mountain King, just the other way around? Because we did see a lot of Mountain King first from various human players in combination with the Blood Mage. On the one hand, he can use Banish, like he's doing right now, actually. Look at how quickly he's creeping that natural expansion spot here by banishing the 2 Forest Troll Trappers and reducing the damage greatly, only needing 1 Footman and a couple of Militias to take it down. So the question is, what is HurricaneBo up to? Are you kidding me? HurricaneBo not going for the Demon Hunter like we praised him for, not going for the almighty Keeper of the Grove, going for the Dark Ranger. So he too is twisting it up a little bit. None of the players following the standard meta routes. Both players seem to have this gentleman's agreement of just taking things a little bit wonkier and having a little bit more fun. But we love these games when 2 stellar players, when they clash into one another, just completely ignoring the rules and just go out of the way and have fun. And I can't wait to see what the Dark Ranger is going to bring into the fray here. Dark Ranger, of course, is very popular as a second, oftentimes even third hero. She can support an undead army very nicely. We see her with Night Elf sometimes. Orcs, not so much, because orcs are kind of dependent on their own heroes, especially the Shadow Hunter. So let's see what the Dark Ranger is able to do. She Okay, HurricaneBo already lost the Wisp. His archers are getting dangerously close to the footies. The Ancient of War is helping as much as it can. There's a really decent number of archers already, guys, so I don't think HurricaneBo has to hide here at all. Archers, of course, are very slow, so they can't really chase down the footmen too well. But HurricaneBo, close to level 2 on this Dark Ranger, went for Dark Black Arrow first, by the way, so every minion, or every unit that he kills will spawn a Skeleton Warrior, which is kind of cool. And he's trying to harass this human fast expansion. Of course, humans like to do that these days. Every worker that dies while under the influence of the Black Arrow will spawn a skeleton. Of course, ThorZaIN, he kind of predicted harassment. Maybe not necessarily from the Dark Ranger as a hero choice, but he definitely predicted some harassment, so he already smartly built an Arcane Tower. And Arcane Towers, they deal bonus damage to summoned units. So the Skeletal Warriors, in that case, are not really that strong. And look at ThorZaIN. This is one of the core strengths of Blood Mages these days. The Siphon Mana tries to go for a surround. Dark Ranger's a fast hero, though. Can she escape, though? The creeps, even though they're sleeping, they're providing some additional surface to body block. ThorZaIN actually opening the surround here. I'm not sure if HurricaneBo saw it, but he's probably trapped nonetheless. And the Dark Ranger in a lot of trouble. Look at the banish, actually preventing these footmen from dying, so the Dark Ranger can't at least take something with her in her dying breath. So much damage being dealt, though, with those creeps now waking up. That is something the Night Elf units were able to do. But I think even though there's a lot of damage, or a lot of damage has been dealt previously onto those footmen, they should be fine. And ThorZaIN is like, you know what? You started that camp very kindly for us. We're going to take at least the Rogue Wizard down and secure ourselves an item. And he goes for the Periapt of Vitality. A little bit of damage, a little bit of health. A pretty healthy mix, I would say, for the Blood Mage. Not ideal, of course, because intelligence is all the Blood Mage wants, really. And let's see the tech here. Still tier 1 because of that fast expansion. Drained a lot of resources, of course, naturally. Let's take a look at HurricaneBo's side. Tier 2 already. Are we going to see mass archers, mass tier 1, maybe with the help of some mercenaries here? The Troll Berserker in the mix. The Naga Sea Witch, of course. Maximum speed when you go for a neutral second hero. You don't have to produce it in your altar. You just buy it. And if you want to have momentum, if you want to push and end things early, the Naga Sea Witch is the outstanding hero choice. With a lot of pressure, the frost shots, they don't really cost a lot of resources. They deal extra damage, they slow a unit down, but of course ThorZaIN with the banish has the tool to protect his units. For now, though, it is 2 heroes against 1. The archers outnumber the footmen, and although they have the shield upgrade, which makes them much more resilient against ranged attacks of all sorts, it is not really enough, I would say. The numbers just aren't there. The tower gets taken down immediately. Great Shadow Melt here by HurricaneBo. However, nighttime will be over relatively soon. The footmen, they're taking so much combined damage right now from the Naga, from the Dark Ranger. The skeletons are going to do extra work here as well, providing extra puffer, extra frontlining here for the archers in the back. And these footmen, they're outnumbered 3 to 1. Can they actually hold the ground? This is where the expansion of ThorZaIN might fall or may yet still stand. But look at this Blood Mage, banishing out of control. The Banish Boy, I think we want to call him here. He saves own units, and he prevents enemy units from attacking all together. And guess what? When he's out of juice, when he can cast no mo, he's going to use the Siphon Mana on the Naga or the Dark Ranger. The Naga, for example, is completely dry on mana. She can't even use her Frost Shots regularly anymore. So I think ThorZaIN is almost there to do a miraculous hold against HurricaneBo. Look at those archers. Where did they all go? Some of them died. Some of them had to be retreated because they all dropped low in HP. So this, what I thought was an impossible hold almost for ThorZaIN, he made it work with diligent banishment use. Wonderful. And guess what? The Blood Mage is almost level 3. Is he going to go banishment level 2 or a Siphon? I would actually lean heavily into the Siphon so he can actually render the Night Elf heroes even more useless. And look at the XP here. All those human footmen were so close to dying. He saved them so nicely. Does he have an Arcane Vault here? Yes, he does. So this is going to be all. Brace for it. Wait for it. Oh, the healing value of that healing scroll. One juicy scroll, that is. I mean, it almost doesn't get better than that. You saved so many units, and now you reward yourself with tons of value. And look at HurricaneBo back in his base. He doesn't have an expansion, as you can see. He's actually ninja proxying those Ancient of Winds so he can put out the Talons relatively fast. And guess what? The Talons, they are not that bad in this particular situation. All that HurricaneBo wants to do is to brute force his way into this expansion and kill the Footmen as fast as possible. Fairy Fire being spread on as many enemy units as possible, lowering the armor. The Footmen now, actually, let me see, where do we have one? Here we go. -4. They take extra damage from all sources right now because of their negative heavy armor. Let's see, though. Is the sheer numbers going to be enough to finally make ThorZaIN bend the knee? So many skeletons. The Dark Ranger, of course, level 3 at this time. Level 2 Black Arrows means stronger skeletons. No banishes here. Unlike last fight, I think ThorZaIN is now a little bit slower, has a little bit more problems on his side, and this is just too many skeletons. There's just too much Night Elf stuff running around, roaming around. Keep in mind, though, that there's now Riflemen coming into the fray. Does he have double barracks production? Yes, he does. So more reinforcements are going to be flooding in. And guess what? As bad as Footmen are in this kind of scenario, because of the skeletons just soaking up too much damage and the ranged units just killing them slowly but surely, the rifles, that's a completely different story. The rifles, they will tear apart those druids of the Talon, thanks to their unarmored armor class, right? They will struggle a little bit against the skeleton minions, mind you, so maybe Priest, once he gets tier 2, might be in order for the Mass Dispel. But I think once he has those tools in his arsenal, once he has those tools ready to be deployed, I think he's going to look mighty fine. Second hero coming, question mark? Not for now. Maybe a neutral one. Maybe he's going to play the Blood Mage solo like Romantic did all those months ago. But here come the militias as well. This replay, as you can tell, ladies and gentlemen, doesn't give us any breathings, you know, any breathers. This is non-stop action, non-stop aggression from HurricaneBo, and he's done great damage up to this point. Look at this concave here, with skeletons taking on the militias, the ranged units killing the rifles, and bringing the Blood Mage low in HP. Did he TP back to the main base? Yes, he did. That's a really good one, because otherwise, if he had TP'd there to his expansion, there would have been no shops in there, no reinforcements, and that would have probably been GG. ThorZaIN, very diligent, very nicely done here. Tries to heal up as much as possible. Does he have any militia left? He really needs additional melee units to provide enough time for the rifles to deal all the terrible, terrible damage. Here comes the Pandaren Brewmaster. Finally, another hero to do the work. Can you just auto-attack him? He probably rallied somewhere else already. There we go. One Talon intercepted and taken out. But of course, Fairy Fire, guys, I should have mentioned this earlier, next to reducing the armor of an enemy unit, it also reveals them. So you reveal one unit, as long as your opponent doesn't pay attention to it and leaves that enchanted unit next to the other units, you will have vision on the entire enemy army. And that is very, very useful. Let's see, though. HurricaneBo, as much damage as he dealt onto ThorZaIN's economy now, thanks to that takedown on the expansion, he also took some heavy blows himself. And keep in mind, guys, that both players are now producing from one base, you know? So economy-wise, things are now even. I would say in terms of experience, if we take a look at the hero levels, I mean, sure, there's two relatively strong heroes on the Night Elf side, level 2, level 3, but the Blood Mage is level 4, ladies and gentlemen. That means... did he go Banish? Yes, Banish 2... and Siphon 2. No Flamestrike. Although, ironically, I think Flamestrike would actually be pretty, could potentially be pretty sick against all those low HP units. So let's see. ThorZaIN. Can the rifles save him one more time? The Regent of the Rifles, we sometimes call him. Normally goes with a Paladin first or Paladin second, Mountain King first, something along those lines. Normal Archmage style is, of course, playable as well, but I've never seen the Mass Rifle style with a Blood Mage Pandaren Brewmaster. And keep in mind now, this Fairy Fire is so dangerous because now the skeletons who are so strong already innately against the rifles' medium armor, they will deal extra damage. They will deal so much damage if the rifles are exposed. But look at the Pandaren Brewmaster. He's angry, and he's fire-breathing those units to death. So much experience thanks to the Murlocs that he just cracked and the enemy skeletons. Keep in mind, every black minion, every black skeletal warrior will provide extra experience to the human heroes. Super close there to level 5 is the Blood Mage. But look at the focus fire. One rifle falls, spawns a dark minion level 2. The Banish onto the Naga leaves her completely useless for a short period of time. He drops one Druid of the Talon. The Shadow Meld comes through, and now he's hunting those rifles. But for some reason, ThorZaIN has more rifles than the Night Elf has archers. And let me tell you, this is a really bad trade for the Night Elf player. Still no expansion on his side. The human expansion has been rebuilt. Level 5 for ThorZaIN. Some way, somehow, he is holding his half of the map very, very well. The rifles at this point are such good units They are so resilient. They're with the long range, of course, the long rifles. They're relatively safe units as well. And the Padaran Brewmaster, despite not having any defensive items, did a really good job holding the front line thus far. Blood Mage, by the way, double claws, nothing to be sneezed at, plus 12 damage. A very fast attacking hero as well, innately. The Blood Mage, that is. So great DPS on his side right now. HurricaneBo, what is he up to? What does he do now? Does he go for a counter expansion? Does he continue to try to apply all that pressure? I think at this point, his momentum might almost be over. The Dark Ranger, I think she's been figured out right now. ThorZaIN doesn't even have priests yet, is even going for priests. I don't think ThorZaIN has any intentions of, you know, swapping or switching up his tech, his unit composition. Made a little bit of a boo-boo here, by the way, with all those farms. He blocked in reinforcements. This is actually going to take a while. I think he could have also just used workers to cut down those trees, and the rifles should be able to leave the base. You know, that happens to the best of us. Sometimes blocking in units. I mean, he's not really dependent on that one rifleman necessarily, but it makes a difference, so he really needs to try to fix this error. Now, finally, HurricaneBo plays a little bit of a creeping game here. Puts the foot off the pedal, just a little bit for now, though. Trying to beef up this Naga Sea, which he could have actually solo-crept that by sending the Dark Ranger away, maybe into the main base or something. And that would have been level 4 for her. Maybe a little bit of a creeping mistake here, slowing things down. And finally, these proxy Ancient of Winds that were designed to support the aggressive push early on are taken down by ThorZaIN. And that means, all of a sudden, no more Talons for HurricaneBo. But HurricaneBo says, I don't even want to have those pesky Druids of Talons anymore. I'm making a tech switch. I'm going for their Druid brothers, the Druids of the Claw. That, of course, means a whole different level of threat for the Riflemen. Bears, especially when transformed into the bear form, Druids of the Talons, Druids of the Claw, that is, sorry, excuse me. They are great counters to any sort of squishy ranged units. However, can he afford this tech switch, which is relatively expensive? Bears are quite costly units, with just one base? That is the question, ladies and gentlemen. The Ancient of Winds actually weren't destroyed, by the way. I made a mistake there. They were evacuated early on, and they're now scouting the bottom perimeter of his map half. Easy save. And you can bait those Night Elf units into overextending so nicely. Look at this. A banish last second denies the kill, at least for a couple of seconds. Very well done. Of course, the Dryads, they can now dispel said banish. So, Dryads are quite dangerous for the composition of ThorZaIN, but I think at this point, if Dryads are dangerous to enemy spells, guess who's dangerous against Dryads? Damn right, that is the Riflemen. So they are going to melt those Dryads like they were... like a knife goes through a hot knife goes through butter, right? That's exactly how quickly they're going to take them down. One bear is not enough, guys. I don't think HurricaneBo has what it takes to back this tech switch up. It is kill after kill. More experience onto the Panda. More experience onto the Blood Mage, who's getting dangerously close to level 6 in the Phoenix. The rejuvenation is nice, but the Panda at this point, level 3, gets the critical strike too. Super strong, and with all those rifles barely untouched, level 4 is here for the Panda, who also has a Scroll of Invulnerability, who also has a Scroll of the Beast. I mean, at this point, he doesn't care anymore. He can protect himself, he can boost the rifles a little bit if he wanted to. The Dark Ranger is the only survivor to tell of this brutal massacre that ThorZaIN just committed. And HurricaneBo, I gotta commend his fighting spirit here, but I think he just needs to step it up or leave the game. Like, if he has no more aces up his sleeves, I think there's no way for him to recuperate. The 2-base economy is still flowing. Still flourishing for ThorZaIN, and I think he's gearing up for the final push. He's trying to clear the Goblin Merchant, probably going for more scrolls, Scroll of Protection, Scroll of Healing even. At this point, I don't think it matters. He might even go for another Invul. There is the Scrolls that we just mentioned. He is a rich kid, so he can afford all these goodies. Lightning Shield even now on the Pandaren as well. Nice item. You put that on, basically on yourself, actually. Oh, that was a big lightning, actually. Fort Lightning taking down 2 rifles at the same time, but the first bear is falling. The units of HurricaneBo are not fully grouped yet. Another bear falls. Can the skeletal minions, though, the dark minions, can they do it? Nice rejuvenation. So much damage, though. The bear has to retreat for now. It is now heroes versus heroes. The Naga is completely shut down. Another bear falls. All HurricaneBo at this point has is his main heroes and the skellies. Naga completely drained and siphoned out of her existence, has no more mana, not even for a frost shot. This is extremely extremely dangerous now. And I think with that, Scroll the Beast increasing the damage +2 attack upgrades, by the way, for the rifles, so they're dealing crazy amounts of damage right now. I think he's going to take him down. Banish! Extra damage from the Fire Breath of the Pandaren, says bye-bye Dog Ranger. HurricaneBo taps out, and ThorZaIN, the European powerhouse from Sweden, he takes down his Chinese opponent like it was a piece of cake. Both players, though, admittedly having a lot of fun with unorthodox strategies. I couldn't have imagined a better game to show you guys. It's been a pleasure. If you enjoyed the cast, if you enjoyed the game, feel free to hit us up with a thumbs up on YouTube. Leave a subscription for more videos up in the future, and we would like to welcome you back for the Fight Night on Warcraft 3 with Grubby, or future videos here on the channel. Thank you very much for your attention, and I'll see you next time on HeroesHearth Warcraft 3. Peace.